First time I can ever recollect anything like this happening on our street, on Horde Street here.
A morning standoff on Madison's east side. We'll hear from a neighbor who said he witnessed that tense incident. And legalizing marijuana, how criminalization of the substance is hurting the state's pocketbook and residents. Plus, bird flu continues to create an egg shortage. One national grocery chain is now limiting how many customers can buy. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Carlson. Eric Franke is off tonight. We begin with the threat of snow. The real stuff headed our way. Our first warned weather team is forecasting actually 2 alert days. Meteorologist Blaise Keller is out on the weather patio. How's it feeling, and when is that snow coming?
Yeah, it's a little bit chilly out here. We're in the upper 20s, if I can see the thermometer behind me, or ahead of me, I should say. But we are getting ready for maybe the biggest snow of winter so far. We have an alert day for Wednesday, with most of southern Wisconsin forecast to at least get 3 inches of this wet, heavy snow starting Wednesday into Wednesday night into early Thursday. We're taking a look at all of our models' interpretation of Wednesday at 6 p.m., but the snow could start earlier in the day. You're seeing those dark blues where the heaviest snow is expected to fall. And we are, as I said, forecasting a wide area of southern Wisconsin picking up anywhere between 3 to 6 inches of snow. That's that middle blue there. Closer to Lake Michigan, the dark blue is at least 6 inches of snow. Further north and west, lesser snow totals. We're looking at anywhere between 1 to 3 inches of snow. We do have a couple counties in Wisconsin underneath a winter storm watch. That does include Walworth County in our coverage area through Thursday morning at 3 a.m. This is going to be a wet, heavy snow. We're also going to tap into moisture from Lake Michigan, so we're going to get some lake effect snow as well. And if you're not in a winter alert now, you will likely be put in one in the next day or so, as the National Weather Service in Milwaukee is looking at all the latest data like we are. And and I appreciate it, they're a little bit on the careful side when it comes to issuing alerts, so that we're not getting anybody too worked up or we're not missing anything. So they have said that those are going to be coming here probably either later tonight or for sure on Tuesday. Single digits to teens tonight underneath cloudy conditions. Some light snow is going to be possible. We'll talk about how much snow we could see tonight and get more in depth with that Wednesday snow in the full forecast.
All right, Blaise, thank you so much for covering all of that. Maple Bluff police arrested a man they say armed himself during a standoff early Monday. Authorities asked residents to avoid the 2400 block of Horde Street early today as officers worked on resolving the incident. Our Jalen Banks joins us from the scene of the incident with more.
Just behind me are the remnants from the scene of a standoff on Madison's east side on the 2400 block of Horde Street. I was able to speak with one neighbor who saw it all firsthand.
First time I can ever recollect anything like this happening on our street.
Says Peter, a resident of the 2400 block of Horde Street for nearly 30 years.
I was literally getting ready to get into bed to go to sleep, and there were police cars, I'm guessing somewhere between 6 and a total of 8, pulling up literally when I was pulling down the shade.
According to the Maple Bluff Police Department, they arrested a man who they say armed himself with a hatchet in an overnight standoff, something Peter says he saw firsthand from his home.
As a mass, they just moved on him, and he ended up running, and they ran after him, and it was a matter of seconds at most. They tackled him on our side of the street here. And kind of wrestled him to the ground.
The Maple Bluff Police Department says the incident stemmed from a traffic stop just before midnight near 615 North Sherman Avenue. The man's name was not released, and he was booked into the Dane County Jail. We'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online as we gather more information. For now, reporting on Madison's east side, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. The driver allegedly had 4 active warrants for his arrest as well. He faces new charges of eluding, resisting, battery to law enforcement, failure to comply, and bail jumping. A 22-year-old Grant County correctional officer is dead after being hit by a vehicle in Illinois over the weekend. The sheriff says on Saturday, Officer Dylan Bellamy was walking along a highway near Mattoon, Illinois, when he was hit. Bellamy was on a training weekend for the Army National Guard. The crash is under investigation, and the sheriff said that Bellamy was a bright young man with a great future at the office. 6 vehicles caught fire over the weekend at a Woodman's parking lot in Madison. Madison Fire says the blaze began Saturday morning at the Woodman's on Milwaukee Street. The owner of the vehicle where the fire started said the car had been running just fine, and a Madison police investigation found no suspicious activity. The cause of the fire is still unknown, and luckily, no one was injured. Unlike Wisconsin, in Minnesota, Illinois, and Michigan, state residents can use either marijuana recreationally, medicinally, or both. But a new report from the American Civil Liberties Union has found this is actually hurting Wisconsin's economy, and it's disproportionately affecting certain communities. Arman Rahman breaks down the numbers.
Over the years, more Wisconsinites on both sides of the aisle are supporting either recreational or medicinal marijuana legalization, or both.
We're really falling behind our neighboring states.
In its report, The State of Cannabis, the ACLU, a nonprofit that works to expand civil liberties, found 78% of Republicans, 84% of independents, and 95% of Democrats supported legalizing medical marijuana in Wisconsin. But those people aren't emptying their wallets in a state where weed's not legal.
Just in 2022, there was data showing that $121 million from Wisconsinites went to Illinois, which contributed about $36 million in Illinois tax revenue.
The Wisconsin Legislative Bureau projected the state would earn about $165.8 million in tax revenue each year under the governor's recreational legalization proposal from the 2021-2023 budget. But leaders with the ACLU say this isn't only hurting the state's pocketbook.
There's a lot of significant social, human, economic costs with marijuana's continued criminalization.
The report found black people in Wisconsin were about 5 times more likely to be arrested for possessing marijuana, even though data shows they use it about the same as white people.
When you come in contact with the criminal legal system, it could cost you your job, your housing, could destabilize the lives of your family or those who depend on you, and cause lifelong trauma.
The organization says legalization has enough bipartisan support to earn attention.
For democracy's sake, just give the people a public hearing to voice their opinions.
According to the ACLU, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos proposed a bill that would allow state-run dispensaries last year, but that bill died without a public hearing. Reporting in Madison, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Arman. In other news, Wisconsin, along with 21 other states, is suing the Trump administration over funding cuts at the National Institutes of Health. The coalition is challenging the administration's attempt to cut what they call indirect cost reimbursements at every research institution throughout the country. These reimbursements cover expenses like faculty, infrastructure, and utility costs. The coalition argues that without them, life-saving medical research in the U.S. could be compromised. Now, Governor Tony Evers responds to that lawsuit in a statement to News 3 Now, saying, quote, "The Trump administration's reckless federal funding cuts will be devastating for Wisconsin and a setback for millions of people who hope and pray every day for a cure or treatments that might save their life or the life of someone they love," end quote. Now, flu cases continue to surge across the country. The latest data from the CDC today shows doctor visits for flu illnesses have reached the highest level since 2009. Yikes. Doctors say that in any given year, up to 41 million people can get the flu, and more than 40,000 people could die from the virus.
If you have some sorts of symptoms, how do you know if it's the flu versus just common cold?
Well, in general, the cold symptoms are from the neck and above. The sore throat, the cough, the runny nose, and all that stuff. Once it starts going below the necks and you feel aches and pains and fever, you can have nausea, vomiting.
Now, doctors say it's never too late to get a flu shot. At least 43 states and the District of Columbia are showing very high to high levels of flu, and there have even been some temporary school closures in some areas. Osteoporosis is the most common bone disease in the country, and now there are new guidelines for who should be tested and when. Doctors recommend all women over the age of 65 have a bone mineral density test. Women of any age at an increased risk for the disease are also advised to be screened. Well, Trader Joe's has set a limit now of 1 dozen eggs per customer per day due to the bird flu. A company spokesperson says this will help stores prevent their shelves from going bare. Bird flu resulted in the deaths of more than 40 million egg-laying birds in 2024. Now, Trader Joe's isn't the only retailer attempting to cope with this egg supply shortage. Kroger officials say although they haven't officially placed a limit, Some of its stores have been doing so based on availability. Well, President Trump announces new tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports in the U.S. The 25% tax would apply to all countries, including Mexico and Canada. The president promised to implement new import taxes in his second term to help U.S. companies boost domestic production. However, economists are warning that tariffs could lead to higher prices domestically.
On the line, we are going to see that tariffs will impact consumers as we essentially have to pay the cost of those taxes that those companies or those importers are paying.
Over the weekend, President Trump also promised what he called reciprocal tariffs on imported goods in cases where another country has put tariffs on our exports. And retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods are already kicking in, with China placing a tax of up to 15% on coal, liquefied natural gas, and crude oil, as well as other products. After the break at 6 tonight, millions of dollars are headed to help public transit services in Rock County and preparing for Madison Metro's expansion. The session updating Monona residents about the new routes running the city. And later on, News 3 now at 10, preparing for Wisconsin's spring elections, where the candidates for the Department of Public Instruction's top positions stand on key issues.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back, everyone. The city of Monona is looking to help residents get ready for the expansion of the Madison Metro and Metro Paratransit. This Sunday, Monona will be holding an information session from 6:30 until 7:30 p.m. at the Public Library Forum Room. Staff from Madison Metro and the Monona Transit Commission will give information on all of the routes running in Monona, as well as key stops and fares. Residents will also have the chance to register to ride or ask questions. The Wisconsin Department of Administration says Janesville and Beloit are among 4 communities getting funds for new transit buses. The $11.8 million grant will help the cities replace and scrap inefficient buses. This is funded by a settlement between the federal government and Volkswagen, where the automaker admitted to cheating on federal emission tests. As part of that settlement, Wisconsin will receive $67.1 million over the next 10 years. Well, coming up at 6, Blaze tells us about the alert day conditions in the forecast, some snow to come. Plus, it's National Teddy Day, how one organization is using the teddy bears to spread kindness among children.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back, everyone. We have some light snow expected tonight in southern Wisconsin, finally, and more snow in the forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is here to break down the alert day conditions headed our way and when.
That's right. We have that alert day for Wednesday and then again into your upcoming weekend. But we're going to focus on tonight's snow and Wednesday's snow, as the weekend snow is still a little ahead in the future. And our main focus right now is really Wednesday. The light snow tonight is going to continue to move out of parts of Iowa and Minnesota. As we cross the midnight hour into that 2 through 4 time frame, that line of snow is going to fall apart. And as we go into the morning commute time frame, still dealing with maybe some flurries across southeastern parts of the forecast area. Clouds beginning to clear as we go into the morning. We're expecting partly sunny conditions as we go into your Tuesday. Looking at a healthy maybe quarter to a half an inch of snow in the light blue there, especially further north and west, closer to Minnesota and Iowa. You're going to have the best chance for up to an inch of this snow. And this is going to be more of that light fluffy snow. The snow that arrives on Wednesday following this green path here, it's going to be more of that wet, heavy snow. It's getting closer and closer to the ideal blue path that a Colorado low could take. But what I would really like to see is as this center of low pressure gets into the lower Ohio River Valley to turn more north. That way it can still capitalize on the open waters of Lake Michigan. Out ahead of this system, nearly 1,200 miles of winter weather alerts, either winter storm watches, winter storm warnings, or winter weather advisories there in the purple. We've got a few counties in southeastern Wisconsin underneath that winter storm watch, and the National Weather Service in Milwaukee has said they're going to continue to look over data tonight and into your Tuesday, and will likely issue more winter weather alerts for southern Wisconsin. So stay with News 3 Now. We will keep you updated. Let's start off Wednesday's snow. In the morning, that snow is going to begin, and as we go throughout the afternoon, it's going to pick up in intensity. The further north the center of this low pressure can go, the better chance we're going to have of that accumulating snow. I'm pausing it here at about 6 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon, and winds have been off of Lake Michigan prior to 6 o'clock Wednesday, and they're going to stay off of Lake Michigan until they turn really out of the north, which is going to be crossing that midnight hour going into early Thursday. So there's going to be a large chunk of time that those winds are pulling moisture off of Lake Michigan. So closer to the lake, you're going to be possibly getting over 6 inches of that wet, heavy snow. Further into central parts of Wisconsin, anywhere between 3 to 6 inches of snow. And stay with News 3 Now. We're going to be tweaking these a little bit, which is why we haven't put it on social media, because typically the first snow map that you see is the one that continues to stay circulating. And if we posted it earlier today, it will be old by tomorrow. We want to keep you guys updated, so we usually have a 36-hour rule. That's when we really get a good feel for what we'll likely see in terms of snow, and this could easily be one of our bigger snows of this year so far, of this winter season so far. So we want to make sure that you have the most up-to-date data. We dry out briefly on Thursday before more snow moves in to end your Valentine's Day. And then there's that alert day Saturday for another weekend system before we quiet down into the following work week.
Okay, thank you, Blaze. For more than 100 years, I love this story, the teddy bear has been a symbol of comfort for people of all ages. And on this Teddy Day, it is Teddy Day, one organization is working with students to spread kindness using this toy. Bear Givers launched in 2003 as a way to brighten the lives of children in hospitals with teddy bears. Now, as the program grew, a middle school teacher began using the toy to make a difference amid a rise in hate speech at her school. The act of kindness became contagious, spreading beyond her doors to other students who took the reins.
We loved going to schools, and so we all thought, well, we should just continue this in high school.
I think we are planting kindness into them.
I love that they're kindness ambassadors. Since its creation, Bear Givers has donated more than 500,000 bears. How about it? Well, when we come back on News 3 Now at 6, the Eagles are celebrating that big Super Bowl win and honoring Bob Uecker, the new patch the Milwaukee Brewers will wear to remember Mr. Baseball.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back, everyone. The Milwaukee Brewers unveiled a patch that they'll be wearing on their uniforms in order to honor longtime broadcaster Bob Uecker. This patch will appear on the sleeves of the team's uniforms. It features Uecker's signature over a gold and navy plaid print. You could see that to honor the various sport coats that he occasionally wore. The patch will make its debut when the Brewers' preseason schedule opens February 22nd. Uecker died last month at the age of 90. The Philadelphia Eagles are flying high after their decisive 40-22 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. The MVP and Eagles coach spoke this morning, and Dana Backus has the wrap from outside the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans.
Eagles quarterback and Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts was all smiles the morning after he led his team to victory.
To be able to bring a championship back to Philadelphia means everything.
The game wasn't even close.
Intercepted! Picked up by Cooper DeJean!
The Kansas City Chiefs had hoped to become the first team to win 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Intercepted again!
But the Eagles' defense was too much for Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who had 3 turnovers and was sacked 6 times.
Ball is out!
Defense did an awesome job yesterday.
Anytime you lose a Super Bowl, it's the worst feeling in the world. They'll stick with you the rest of your career.
Eagles rookie Cooper DeJean broke the game open with an interception he ran back for a touchdown, making it even sweeter. It was his first career touchdown on his 22nd birthday, a birthday he shares with teammate Saquon Barkley.
Be able to hold that Lombardi trophy and do it on my birthday and Saquon's birthday, it's pretty crazy.
President Donald Trump became the first sitting commander-in-chief to attend the game. And Grammy winner Kendrick Lamar delivered a star-studded halftime show featuring actor Samuel L. Jackson, singer SZA, and tennis champion Serena Williams. In Philadelphia, rowdy Eagles fans lived up to their reputation, scaling a truck and set a fire in the street as they celebrated their team's Super Bowl victory. Danya Backus, CBS News, New Orleans.
Next year's Super Bowl 60 will be played at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. That is the home of the San Francisco 49ers. Well, Wisconsin sophomore star John Blackwell is this week's guest on Wisconsin Huddle. Come out tonight to Pooley's Sports Pub. You can watch the live taping with the Blackwell. The free show begins at 6:45. We'll be right back. Oh, actually, no. We're here right now.
Yes, we are. Well, we got a little bit of snow tonight, but we are tracking the better chance for snow on Wednesday. An alert day there on Wednesday. Is looking pretty confident that at least 3 inches of snow is going to fall across the majority of southern Wisconsin. And some folks closer to Lake Michigan especially could get upwards of a half a foot of snow, which could easily be our heaviest snow, our biggest snow of winter so far after a very lackluster January, to say the least, a snow drought. I have a whole write-up about how January was actually the state's 3rd driest January on record. In our latest Beyond the Barometer, we really need this snow. We got to build back that snowpack. And we have not one but 2 chances, Wednesday and then again that Friday into Saturday. And with temperatures staying below freezing, 32 degrees, it looks like any of that snow is going to stick around for a while.
And we were talking about how much we actually like it. We like it to be safe, but we like it too.
Yes, I'm excited.
Thanks, guys. Me too. Have a good one.